evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Wall of Power Radio Hour. I'm your host, Paul Metza. Tonight we have two legendary Minnesota musicians, both of whom I'm honored to say are friends of mine. And coincidentally, they both have shows this weekend at Crooner's Lounge in Fridley. First up is Tim Sparks, a man I consider to be one of the finest steel string guitarists and composers in the universe. Tim has a great new record out called Jukebox Dreamin' with bass player James Buckley. Tonight we're going to be talking to Tim about the record and more, including his show he's doing tonight. We taped the show earlier in the week with Rio Nito at Where Else Crooner's Lounge, where it's all happening this weekend. In the last set of the Wall of Power Radio Hour, we will be chatting with Bobby Vandel, a drummer who has played with Bonnie Raitt, Lamont Cranston, Alexander O'Neill, and others. He is debuting his tribute to Merle Haggard, entitled Sing Me Back Home, tonight as well, and he has a special Mother's Day show on Sunday at Crooner's Lounge. We'll give you more info on that as the show progresses. But without any further ado, I want to say hello to my old buddy and old guitar teacher, Tim Sparks. Sparky, how are you?
I'm good, Paul. It's nice to be here. How you doing?
Oh, great, man. I just love the record.
Thank you.
You've been playing a lot with James Buckley over the years, haven't you?
Yeah, this collection of songs incubated over a period of the last 2 or 3 years. And a lot of it reflects the kind of audience I've been finding in the Twin Cities. I started out playing a pretty much straight-ahead jazz, but gradually started to find that things that people related to were more the things you find in the repertoire on this CD, which has a lot of covers by John Lennon and Paul Simon and Beatles tunes and so forth. All they're done with the same kind of postmodern jazz sensibility that I have.
Mm-hmm. Now, I recently did a Muddy Waters tribute at the Ice House, and you were doing the happy hour gig. You sounded fantastic. Do you have a regular standing thing down there?
It's a couple of 2 or 3 times a month.
Okay.
And it's kind of a comfortable place to incubate, try out new music. So I like playing there, and I like the people there and the whole ambiance.
South Minneapolis.
Very eclectic.
Yeah, 26th and Nicola. It's a really lovely club. Great food, nice drinks, and they've got a really nice lineup of music. Now, does James Buckley have something to do with that?
He used to. He's now moved on. He's going to be doing a new club in Brooklyn, in New York.
Wow, good for him.
Yeah, I was just out there playing. I did a gig at Russ and Daughters on the Lower East Side, a series that John Zorn curates once a month, and then I played a cool gig in Brooklyn with a band called the Sandcatchers that's led by a great guitar player named Yoshi Fruchter, who also used to record for Zodic. So, it helps me appreciate what a great music scene we have in Minneapolis, to tell you the truth.
Well,
great venues and a really great audience here in the Twin Cities.
I couldn't agree with you more. In fact, I had a really great conversation with my old running buddy, Timmy O'Keefe, just a couple of days ago, and to see what an amazing percussionist that guy's turned into.
Oh, yeah. You bet.
You play...
Well, I'm doing a gig with O'Keefe at the Ice House next month.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, so
we'll have to
check your calendar.
Yeah, we'll have to bring O'Keefe in and talk about that. Have you met his brother, Pat?
No, I've heard him a lot, but I haven't had a chance to actually play with him. But I've been living up north for such a long time. It's taken me a while to get reintegrated into the Twin City music scene since I moved back.
Well, you were such a part of it when I moved down in 1978. You were ensconced with your lovely wife, Cheryl, right on the West Bank, and we hooked up immediately. I was a big fan of Rio Nito, lived across Ridgewood Avenue from Tom Lieberman, knew Prudence Johnson very well, and you and I started working together. I was taking lessons from you. A lot of those arrangements, I have to thank you for. I still play. They still stand up. Dig-a-dig-a-do and Honeysuckle Rose and Carolina Shout. All that great stuff.
Yeah, those were great times, and the Wolverines were really great back in that era, and there was so much good music going on now it's all it's just exploded all over the Twin Cities. You know?
Well, tell people that haven't heard Tim Sparks where you got started playing. You're from down south somewhere.
Yeah, I'm from North Carolina, and I originally started playing like country and blues music and gospel music. I grew up in Piedmont, North Carolina, and I got to study classical guitar at the School of the Arts, the North Carolina School of the Arts, which is a new school. And one of the guys I went to school with, Tony Hauser, was from the famous Hauser family of Minnesota.
Oh, I didn't know you went to school with Tony.
Yeah. That's how I wound up coming up here to visit him when I had some time off from a band I was playing with in Chicago. And I liked the whole scene in the Twin Cities and the Triangle Bar, 400. And so ended up staying here.
And the Rainbow Gallery.
Oh, yeah.
I took lessons with both Michael Hauser and Tony Hauser, and you. It was such a, well, it still is, really, Tim. If you look back, Leo Kottke, Peter Lang, Dakota Dave Hall, the rest. I mean, Tim Hennessy.
Yeah. There's a very fertile acoustic guitar scene here in Minnesota.
And you have been one of the leaders of it. So didn't you actually take a master class from the great Andre Segovia?
Well, I attended a couple of his master classes, because the teacher at the North Carolina School of the Arts when I was there was Jesus Silva, was a great Mexican classical guitarist and a protege of Manuel Ponce, who was very tight with Segovia. And so Segovia would come to the School of the Arts and do residencies, and also he taught a great summer residency in Italy for the students.
Wow.
And
I just saw there's a great, I think it was on Amazon Prime, a great documentary on Segovia, and he made good money, traveling the world with his classical guitar, but he gave it's almost the inversion of Spinal Tap Stonehenge. He gave these architects plans for this house, and they built it like 12 times bigger than the house. You got to track this thing down. I mean, this thing looks like it's the size of an airport, but God bless him that he could have...
A big guitar collection.
So now you play around the world. Where have you been lately?
Well, lately I did a nice tour in Italy and Germany last fall. I did Peter Finger's tour that he organizes every year. There's some really killer guitar players. And one of them was Alberto Lombardi, who's a great guitarist from Rome. And Steve Hicks, who's from England, who's a terrific, phenomenal ragtime player and guitar maker. And Peter, and it was really cool.
Wow.
And then I did this short little gig residency in New York, and I'm working on another tour in Europe about a year from now. I'm booking gigs in Germany and Italy right now.
Go ahead.
Well, that's kind of what I'm up to. In the meantime, I'm just playing around Twin Cities. And
it's funny, Tim. I brag about you quite a bit, and also brag that I took lessons from you. But I tell people Tim Sparks is the only guy I know who's actually read Finnegan's Wake.
Yeah, I like Finnegan's Wake, and I've been reading Ulysses. It's terrific.
And what did you tell me what the key to Finnegan's Wake was?
Well, one is that it's Irish dialect written phonetically, but so he's creating the sound of the Irish patois, but at the same time he's using words to write the phonetic sound of the words. So he's imprinting different meanings, into the text. Mm-hmm. And so you have this experience of almost like reading a hieroglyph where you have multiple meanings embedded in the same word. in one moment. So it's kind of psychedelic that way.
Spells ice cream headache to me, but what do I know? We've got Tim Sparks on. He's got a great new record out called Jukebox Dreamin' with bassist James Buckley. In a little bit, we're going to hear his version of Strawberry Fields Forever. We've got about 30 seconds before the song comes up. How did you arrange this?
Well, this, usually you find a great arrangement, but sometimes you put in a different key that works better on the guitar than the tune. But I think, as I recall, this song is actually arranged in the same key it was originally written in. And it's beautiful the way it falls together. It was just sitting there, Really cool.
It was the first tune I listened to when you sent me the record. We've got Tim Sparks on for 2 more sets. We're going to listen to Strawberry Fields Forever and be back with Tim on the second set of the Wall of Power Radio Hour.
Source of the Twin Cities gay scene is all digital. Follow Twin Cities Gay Scene on Facebook and Twitter. Sign up for the Scene Shot email blast for weekly updates and chances to win great prizes. No app is needed to view the bi-weekly web editions of Scene. It's GLBTQ media for the mobile generation. Find it all at TwinCitiesGayScene.com. That's TwinCitiesGayScene.com.
Victor's 1959 Cafe in South Minneapolis is a locally owned and operated restaurant offering traditional Cuban food. Open for breakfast and lunch daily with dinner Tuesday through Saturday. For night shift workers, Victor's even has both a morning and evening happy hour, and Victor's now accepts dinner reservations too. Stop in and try some delicious authentic Cuban cuisine like ropa vieja and seafood paella. Make your reservation and learn more at victors1959cafe.com. Victor's 1959 Cafe, revolutionary Cuban cooking.
Hello, humans. This is me, Ellie Krug, with Ellie 2.0 Radio on Monday mornings from 7 to 8 a.m. This week, I'll highlight a group of German university students and their professor who, in 1942, created an underground resistance to the Nazi regime using the moniker White Rose. It's a story of idealism at its finest. Then, for the big interview, I'll speak with Chris Farrell, author of Purpose and a Paycheck, about how older workers are seizing opportunities to create new businesses. Very interesting. Ellie 2.0 Radio on AM 950.
Find a wide selection of outdoor hearth products at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces. Whether you prefer wood or gas, Woodland Stoves has the fire to fit your home. Pizza aficionados know nothing matches masonry oven baking for capturing flavor and nutrition. Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces can easily install one in your home or business. Enthusiasts use these ovens year-round for bread making, wood roasting, even grilling.
The mission and passion of Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces is to make the fire work for you. The way humans relate to fire is primordial. We have used fire to warm our bodies, cook our meals, and kindle our spirits. Our team has the know-how to do this in a clean-burning and environmentally smart way. Visit our store and experience the diversity. We have over 35 working units on display at the corner of Riverside and East Franklin. See us online at woodlandstoves.com. Find the fire that fits and works for you.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, out of the ordinary products and services since 1977. The Minneapolis Farmers Market has the best selection of plants for your gardens, the freshest produce, meats, and farmstead goods. You'll find meat vendors, some homestead vendors, and greenhouse vendors in the early part of spring. Plus, there will be fresh produce when the weather gets warmer. The Hennepin County Government Center Market is open Tuesdays, the Nicollet Mall Market is open on Thursdays, and the 312 East Lindell Market is open daily from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. More details at mplsfarmersmarket.com.
welcome back to set 2 of the Wall of Power Radio Hour. I'm your host, Paul Metsa. My guest for the next couple of sets is my friend and phenomenal guitarist, Tim Sparks. Tim, what are you listening to these days?
Oh, these days, that's a good question. I'm a kind of omnivore when it comes to music. I went through a process of relearning a huge amount of repertoire recorded in the previous decade when I did a series of records for Zodic Records in New York for John Zorn, and a lot of these were solo guitar arrangements of old Jewish folk songs, both klezmer and Sephardic Middle Eastern Jewish music. And I got an opportunity to play a couple of really cool gigs in New York, and so I spent a couple of months digging up and relearning and kind of putting this old repertoire back together. And it was really a great experience because I think I'm a better player now than I was 20 years ago. And so that's one thing I've been playing a lot lately. And I'm also working on a new project of arranging music by Stravinsky and Shostakovich and Prokofiev, 3 major Russian composers from 20th century modern music that I've been doing the guitar arrangements of, and I'm getting really close to being ready to record that. So.
Wow. Well, I remember when I met you, not only did I see you around town playing with Rio Nito, but when we started taking lessons, you were teaching me songs by Fats Waller and James B. Johnson that you would actually take these piano arrangements off LPs and transcribe them.
Yeah, there's a bit of a kind of a Segovia thing there, I guess. I mean, that's one thing he did too, was to adapt for solo classical guitar pieces that had been written for cello or harpsichord, or for piano. And it's kind of the same idea in a way. If you see the guitar as a kind of an orchestral instrument, you can imagine a lot of different things playing on guitar that started off somewhere else. And sometimes that can have great results. Now, the tunes on the Jukebox Dreamin' were involved in my interest in trying to blend a vocabulary that I started out working for John Zorn, which is a very eclectic postmodern kind of language. So I was mixing like jazz scales and blues licks, and in the case of the material on Jukebox Dreamin', I was trying to also play these kind of chicken pick and country type licks. And the tune Jukebox Dreamin', the title track, is kind of an evocation of an old kind of 60s Ray Charles kind of vibe, where he used to do those beautiful kind of country-esque kind of tunes.
Right.
I remember that movie In the Heat of the Night, he did that tune so beautifully, the theme song of that film. Anyway, it's kind of a sultry, southernish kind of sounding song, and I tried to kind of mine some of those that kind of meeting point, that crossroads of country and blues music and jazz sensibility in that tune. So all the music in the Jukebox Dreamin' album is kind of involved in that, as well as being a kind of a memoir of that whole era and what it was like in the South, which was an extremely polarized type of place. And I mean, right now we're living in an era of repolarization.
Yeah, no doubt.
That I never imagined would happen. That has bad as it is, and I hope it won't last forever.
Well, it starts at the top, and without mentioning any names.
Yeah.
Tim Sparks, what were your early guitar influences?
Well, my grandma, she played some guitar and piano. I heard lots of really good bluegrass guitar players, and then, of course, when I was a kid growing up, Doc Watson and Chet Atkins were big icons. And in North Carolina, one of my earliest memories as an infant watching TV was watching Arthur Smith's TV show, which came out of Charlotte, North Carolina. And Arthur Smith and the Cracker Jacks, and Arthur Smith's Guitar Boogie.
Yeah, sure.
Was his big tune, and he was a great guitar player, and would also have different people come visit on his show, like Chad Atkins,
wow,
Doc Watson, for example. I was just talking to Prudence about this the other day. She's working up a show. I can't think of her name. That she played with. Who's the blonde country diva of all time?
Dolly Parton. Oh, Dolly Parton. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was telling Prudence, like, when I was a kid, I used to watch Dolly Parton and Porter Wagoner's TV show every week. There were tons of those kind of weird country shows you could watch down in the South, and all of them had incredibly great music.
Yeah, well, it's, back in that 30s and 40s, into the 50s, there was so much live music on both radio and then eventually television. You look back, Tim Sparks, at WCCO radio. Willard Peterson, the patriarch of the Peterson family, and Jeannie Peterson, I think they used to have like an 8-piece band on the radio.
Wow. Yeah, live radio, that's a whole different kind of discipline,
Yeah, absolutely. Tim, what guitar players do you listen to now?
Well, I listen to lots of young and up-and-coming players. It's such an amazing universe of really, really good guitar players now. They're all trying to be Tommy Emmanuel, and that's a pretty good bar to try to reach.
Yeah.
And this guy, Alberto Lombardi's, he's not a young guy. He's in his 40s. He's young to me.
Yeah, and me.
The guy can play like Lenny Breau style harmonics all day long.
Wow.
If you want, It's like astounding. And
I just told somebody a story. I had a guitar student, 30 years ago, and he had moved down to Nashville for about a year trying to make it as a country musician, and moved back up to Minneapolis and took a few lessons from me. But the first night he was in Nashville, he went to see Lenny Breau, the great Canadian guitar player discovered by Chet Atkins, at a little Nashville club. And so he said, I just got in from Minnesota. Where should I look for a place to live? And Lenny goes, I'm looking for a roommate. And this kid ended up living with Lenny Breau for about a year. And he said Lenny would come home from the gigs and just sit around the table till 3 or 4 in the morning and just play guitar. Sounds like heaven to me.
Sheesh.
And he
should write a book.
Yeah, no, I wish I could track the kid down. We've got Tim Sparks on for one more set. We're going to listen to the title track of his new record he did with James Buckley called Jukebox Dreamin', and be back in a little bit.
The entire buying experience with Rudy Luther Toyota is so worthwhile. Every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, 2 years of free maintenance with every new Toyota purchased. Their super staff is wonderful, always ready to help. And there's the Luther Advantage Card. With every new and used vehicle purchase, you'll get 3 years of 10 cents off per gallon of gas at holiday station stores, as well as discounted car washes. The Luther Advantage Card keeps you happy in your Rudy Luther vehicle. Head on over to Rudy Luther Toyota, 394 and 169 in Golden Valley.
This is New Beginnings, hosted by award-winning broadcaster and speaker Freddie Bell.
Freddie, this generation of the baby boomers, people are living longer, so the baby boomers are taking care of elderly parents.
Let's talk about your health, and specifically, let's talk about Medicare. Our show features the concerns of America's 78 million baby boomers in employment, finance, health and nutrition, and even entertainment.
Catch New Beginnings with Freddie Bell, Saturdays at 11 on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Crooner's Lounge and Supper Club is delighted to offer its spacious facilities for your private function. From weddings, retirement parties, business dinners, or any special occasion, Crooner's combines a dedicated full-service special events team, an award-winning chef, and a beautiful lakeside ambiance to make your event a resounding success. Visit croonersloungemn.com to learn more about their private dining options, or call 763-571-9020 to get a quote for your next event today.
With all the convenient big box stores that sell appliances, why do so many Minnesotans choose Warner Stellian? Check online to learn that Warner Stellian is a Minnesota family-owned business for over 60 years. Warner Stellian sells more brands than anyone else, and our passionate specialists are committed to impressing you so much that you'll refer us to everyone you know. That's our mission here at Warner Stellian. Ask around, check us out online, and when it's your time to buy appliances, join over 300,000 Minnesota homeowners and choose the specialists, Warner Stellian.
Tom Hartman here telling you that solar energy isn't just for environmentalists. Switching to all-energy solar is actually perfect for reducing your carbon footprint while also saving money on your monthly electric bill. The fact that solar panels cause no earth-harming emissions while it's producing energy is a bonus. Who in the world could object to that? But they can also help you save money month after month for decades. And they do it with a clean footprint. So go green and start saving money today by visiting allenergysolar.com. Hi, it's Tom Hartman. You know, Continental Diamond is special for a lot of reasons. The owners are Jimmy and Helene Pessis, a husband and wife team who had a dream to open their own store more than 30 years ago. They built a business that is the gold standard. The readers of Minnesota Bride magazine have named Continental Diamond the best jeweler for the last 7 years. Why? Amazing, friendly, no-pressure customer service, a selection of fine diamonds and design jewelry unlike anywhere else, and the fresh baked chocolate chip cookies are pretty great too. Continental Diamond in St. Louis Park and at continentaldiamond.com.
With your AM 950 weather, this is Eric Nelson. Tonight will be mostly cloudy with a low around 44. Sunday will be sunny with a high near 63 and a low around 43. Monday sunny with a high of 67 and a low of 51. Tuesday a 30% chance of rain with temperatures in the 70s. AM 950 is brought to you by Eat Local Minnesota. Break away from the usual and find a list of one-of-a-kind local restaurants at eatlocalminnesota.com. From elegant to casual, exotic to comfort food, they've got everything and more. Find a full list of incredible nearby restaurants at eatlocalminnesota.com.
Welcome back to the Wall of Power Radio Hour. This is your host, Paul Metza. We just heard my guest, Tim Sparks, do just a very creative arrangement of the Simon & Garfunkel tune, Homeward Bound. And we're going to play a little bit more off his new record, Jukebox Dreamin', at the end of this set. So, Tim Sparks, you have such a facility with recreating these what sound like simple folk songs, but they're not, and then you put your own touch on it. It really becomes pretty magical.
Well, you know, going back to Segovia, he had an interesting saying about making an arrangement of a guitar piece, of a piece originally written for something else. He said it should actually sound better than the original, if you want to think of it as a successful arrangement. And I don't think anything I do is better than the original, but I do think if you make a really great guitar arrangement, it should really light up on the guitar in a special way that offers some kind of new angle on the tune. Like if we think of our iconic songs, it's kind of like Finnegan's Wake. You know, it's like you've got the song in the middle of the page, like Talmud, and then there are all the different commentaries and different versions of that song that all kinds of artists have done over the years that in their own little way kind of add little dimensions to that song. And so you develop a kind of a hypertextual understanding of it as you understand more and more of the different renditions. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Now, so how many songs, Tim Sparks, are on Jukebox Dreamin'?
I think there's 13 or 11.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I get my fingers out here. I have to start counting. But I think there's 11 or 12.
Okay. 11, yeah. Brett Johnson, the esteemed studio engineer, just shot me, I think it was 11, or you were giving me the finger twice.
Yeah,
I don't know.
wasn't.
Anyway, we taped this show with Tim Sparks earlier in the week. Right now, as we speak, Rio Nito, his great trio with Prudence Johnson and Tom Lieberman, are performing at Crooners in Fridley. Tim, let's talk a little bit about bringing Rio Nito back and dusting off the cobwebs, and you've started doing some shows over the last few years.
Yeah, we have, and actually, we're working on a new record in the same studio where I recorded Jukebox Dreamin' at Wild Sound Studios, which is engineered by Steve Call.
Oh, he's amazing. He's just
He
about
is.
6 blocks from where I take my TV show, Wall of Power TV.
He's terrific. He gets a lot of credit for anything that sounds good on anything I do, because he's got a guy that puts you at ease and lets you blossom in the studio. That's almost a kind of a psychic, intangible quality, but
Yeah.
you know, he has a good mojo. And I enjoyed doing this record with Steve, and now Rio Nito's having this. We're about halfway through a record we're doing. I hope we'll have it out by the end of the year and do a big show to celebrate the Dakota.
Well, we'd love to have you back on when that happens.
Yeah.
Steve Call is not only an amazing engineer, but he's a hell of a guitar player himself. Tim Sparks, I bumped into your old running buddy and my first friend in Minneapolis, Tommy Lieberman, just a couple of days ago, and he said that you and he are working on some new material that might be for Rio Nito.
We are writing some new original songs, and I've been writing some music, and Tom is really great with writing lyrics, and he's creating some really cool stuff. So we're very excited about how this record's going to turn out. It'll be a big surprise to a lot of people that like our music. There'll be some really interesting new music included. We're happy about it.
Well, I'm happy about it too, Tim Sparks. Say, didn't you and Lieberman do a duo gig not too long ago?
Yeah, we played down at Carnegie Crossings in Zumbrota, and sometimes we played the Astor, and that's a lot of fun. Tommy's really killer guitar player, and he's really bonded with this baritone guitar of his.
Yeah.
He's really getting a handle on it now. Sounds really great when he plays. And by the way, you sounded really great at that tribute the other night at the Ice House.
Oh, thank you very much.
We were killing it.
Thanks, man.
Really good.
Well, I was playing that new Eastman guitar that I got from Fret Central. They had just opened up. Great guitar shop. Actually, it's kind of the spiritual successor to the Podium, right in South, right just a little bit north of Dinkytown. And they've got a lot. Have you been there, Tim, Fret Central?
No, I need to go check that out.
Yeah, they have a lot of beautiful guitars. So I went there. I got invited. Let's see, Billy McLaughlin and Phil. I'm spacing out on Phil's last name.
Phil Haywood.
Yeah, Phil Haywood played the opening. And so I played all these guitars, and like these, they had some really nice, under $1,000 acoustic guitars, but they had a lot over $1,000 acoustic guitars. And my story is, and I'm sticking to it, was years ago I went to the Podium and I played this brand new, beautiful Gibson J45, and it sounded great and it played great. It was that gorgeous Gibson Brown Sunburst. And I played it for about a half an hour, and one of the salespeople came up. I think they thought I had a sale and said, "Paul, well, what do you think?" And I said, "How much is it?" They said, $5,600. And I said, "You know what?" I said, "I have a rule of thumb." I said, "I don't buy or play guitars that are worth more than the car that I drive." But when I was walking out of Fret Central, I saw this kind of a takeoff on an ES-175, which I always wanted to have with one pickup. And, you could play swing and blues and folk and fingerstyle. So, yeah, that's my new baby. I call her Jackie Magic. What are you playing these days, Tim? What kind of guitar?
I've been playing the same guitar for about a decade. It's was made by Charlie Hoffman.
Okay.
And I went into his shop with my granddaughter's guitar, which is a Chinese copy of a Gibson OM series, kind of like a violin-shaped guitar with an oval sound hole. And what I liked about it was it had a very short scale. And then they had a guitar there that had a short scale, and it was one Charlie had made, and it was made with coil wood and spruce. And I've been playing that and used it on a number of records, and been playing this since about 2008.
Well,
so
you should. Has any guitar company approached you about doing a Tim Sparks model?
Oh, not exactly. I'm working on doing a guitar with Tim Reedy sometime. I like his guitars.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a great guitar maker here in the Twin Cities, up and coming.
You know, it's hard to believe, Tim, that we've known each other now for 41 years. And I want to ask you about, we lost one of the guiding lights, probably the heart and soul of the Minneapolis music scene, who I know you were close with a few months back. Tell us a little bit about how you felt about Willie Murphy.
Oh, well, Willie Murphy is one of the first people in Twin Cities who, kind of reached out to me and gave me some work and recognized I had something to contribute. And that was always meaningful to me because when I moved here, I found this very uptight kind of cliquish scene.
Yeah.
Very hard to, break into.
The folk mafia.
Yeah.
I think that's what Willie used to call it, actually.
And Willie was, we hung out a lot, and I have a lot of great memories with him. He produced my demo tape of the Nutcracker Suite that I sent, that got me a record deal with Peter Finger.
Wow.
We recorded that in his living room, and over the years, I shared lots of literature and insights of things to me about Sufism and art and all kinds of things.
Yeah,
he also, nurtured Rio Nito, and he played bass on our first record. He actually introduced us to each other, sort of.
Really?
He was always helping everybody. He was a mentor to so many musicians. Yeah. And a very selfless, righteous person. And we thought he'd always be here, in the way he is, but...
Yeah.
It was very sad when he passed.
Huge loss. Tim Sparks.
I played that song over and over again. He always sang it. I heard him singing at Dave Ray's memorial and at Gus Gustafson's. It was the song of I've Got a Secret. Did We Shake Sugary? It's the line. A very, very beautiful song. He always played at the funerals, I think, and I thought about him when I listened to that song.
Wow. Tim Sparks, it's been a really wonderful conversation. Where can people track you down and see you play, and also buy some of your records?
Well, I'm playing at the Ice House on a semi-regular basis, so just check their calendar. I'm playing out at the 929 Landing. It's in Minnetonka.
Okay.
That's on Thursday, May 30th. That's a really cool gig. It's a beautiful restaurant. And I'll be back at the Ice House over the summer. Like I said, I'm doing a cool gig there with Mark Stillman and Tim O'Keefe. That'll be really a lot of cool gypsy and Middle Eastern and snake dance music. Looking forward to that.
Kerosene and Rattle.
I'm playing with my buddy Phil Haywood. We're playing at Northrop and at the Astor. So
cool. Yeah. And now, was it TimSparks.com?
Right now, I have a Tim Sparks Facebook page, and I'm rebuilding my web page. So
great.
Facebook is a place to check out what I'm doing.
Well, Timmy, I look forward to seeing you again. Look forward to hearing from you. We're going to listen to a great Chris Cornell Soundgarden track called Black Hole Sun, arranged and played by Tim Sparks and James Buckley.
number one source of the Twin Cities gay scene is all digital. Follow Twin Cities Gay Scene on Facebook and Twitter. Sign up for the Scene Shot email blast for weekly updates and chances to win great prizes. No app is needed to view the bi-weekly web editions of Scene. It's GLBTQ media for the mobile generation. Find it all at TwinCitiesGayScene.com. That's TwinCitiesGayScene.com.
Tap, taste, and treasure at Vinaigrette, where we have some warm seasonal recipes all ready to create dynamite meals. Our fig balsamic vinegar pairs perfectly with roasted Brussels sprouts or baked brie. And sweet potatoes are always a winner, but never more than when they're roasted with a drizzle of vinaigrette cinnamon or orange-fused extra virgin olive oil on top. Come in today for more custom-crafted food and cocktail recipes at Vinaigrette, 50th and Xerxes in Minneapolis and 287 Water Street in downtown Excelsior. Online at vinaigrettemn.com.
This is Gregory Rich, founder of Habitation Furnishing and Design and host of Drink in the Style every Sunday at 5 p.m. You know, on the radio program, I often say that life is the big stuff, but living is in the details. The furniture in your home may be details, but that's where you do the living. So why not speak to one of Habitation's design professionals about making your space the best it can be? Habitation, 4317 Excelsior Boulevard in St. Louis Park.
Located just north of 50th and France, the Great Wall Restaurant has provided a delicious taste of authentic Chinese cuisine since 1981. Specializing in Szechuan and Peking dishes, they offer one of the most extensive menus in the Twin Cities. Favorites include hot and sour soup, pan-fried dumplings, and mushu pork with homemade Chinese pancakes. Stop by their Edina location or call for takeout at 952-927-4439. See the full menu at greatwallrestaurant.us.
Hi, I'm Matt McNeil, and I want to encourage you to join me weekday afternoons at 3 p.m. for The Matt McNeil Show. It's a Twin Cities-based full hour of talk where we discuss what's going on in the state and in the nation from a Minnesota perspective. We'll be joined by a lot of great guests, and we'll take your phone calls. Interact with us on the Twitter page, at Matt McNeil Show, the Facebook page, Progressive Citizen X, The Matt McNeil Show, and on email. Comment at am950radio.com. The Matt McNeil Show, weekday afternoons at 3 right here on AM 950.
It's 6:42 p.m. Time for Steve Plato and his son Dylan to do the dishes. They talk about everything from the yuckiness of girls to the awesomeness of his soccer team. Sometimes they don't talk at all. Then, hey! The dreaded splash fight. It's Dad o'clock, and it's the best time of the day. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
First thing I remember knowing was a lonesome whistle blowing and a youngin's dream of growing up to ride on a freight train leaving town, not knowing where I'm bound, and no one could change my mind but Mama tried. The one and only rebel child from a family meek and mild, my mama seemed to know what lay in store. Despite all my Sunday learning, towards the bad I kept on turning, till Mama couldn't hold me anymore.
Welcome back to the Wall of Power Radio Hour. This is your host, Paul Metz. We just listened to a little bit of the great Merle Haggard singing one of his classic tunes, Mama Tried, here on Mother's Day weekend. Like I told you at the top of the hour, our second guest tonight is Mr. Bobby Vandel. Bobby actually started out in the music business as a drummer. He's performed with everybody from Bonnie Raitt, Lamont Cranston, Alexander O'Neill, the Paul Metza Group, and others. And he's debuting his tribute to Merle Haggard tonight and on Mother's Day at Crooner's Lounge in Fridley. We've got him on the line. Bobby, you've settled into a nice second career now as a country crooner.
Yeah, isn't that something? Boy, it's been quite a transition. I'm having fun with it too, Paul.
When did the idea come up? I know you've always loved country music and you've got a beautiful voice, but when did the idea to do the Sing Me Back Home, the ultimate Merle Haggard experience come to you?
No, I've played drums with so many people. I've watched so many great singers from the drum chair, and I've learned a lot from all of them. So Some of them, most of them, what to do. Some of them, what not to do. And I just
hey, Bobby, keep me out of this. Keep me out of this. Well, you've always sang when you were with the Paul Metsa group. You sang some leads. You're a great harmony singer. But I imagine growing up in St. Cloud, you started listening to country music at a young age.
Yeah, I did. My mom was listening to jazz in the house, and my dad loved country. So I had a lot of different kinds of music going on in the house, and I fell in love with all of it. Merle was one of those voices that just stood out for me. I just think he's got one of the most beautiful singing voices in any genre of music.
Well, I consider him, along with Prince, probably to be one of America's greatest musicians. Not only was he a brilliant songwriter, had a gorgeous voice, great guitar player, also played fiddle, and a band leader. And as a matter of fact, I talked to Marty Haggard, Merle's firstborn son, my very first Wall of Power TV show, and he said Merle Haggard was a big fan of Prince.
I'm sure he was. I mean, he had a real open mind. He loved all different kinds of music. You know, he didn't come from Nashville like most country artists came from. He came from Bakersfield, California. Him and Buck Owens were the two guys who came from that town and grew up in a little different environment, perhaps a little bit more diverse music that he listened to when he was younger.
Well, and of course, the great Merle Haggard story. Unfortunate for him, he had to spend 2 years in San Quentin after it, but he and his buddy were out on kind of a bender and decided to break into the back door of a bar. The owner came around and said, "Merle, we're open."
Yeah. Yeah, they're going in the front one, I guess.
But the great thing about that was he was actually in San Quentin when Johnny Cash performed.
Yeah, he was, and that's really what changed his life. I mean, he did some jail time when he was 11. I mean, his mother didn't know what to do with him. His father had left, and he was living a very wild life at that young of an age. He had three jail stints, and when he was 18 years old, went into San Quentin, and Johnny Cash came on stage, and of course, he was giving the finger to the guards, and he was chewing gum and acting arrogant, and Merle Haggard fell in love with him. He thought, I can do that. That's what I want to do the rest of my life. That's what he did.
God bless them both. Tell us about the show. Are you going to tell stories, or is it primarily music?
No, I like to tell a few stories. I mean, I've got a radio show myself, so I enjoy learning about the artists that I'm playing on the radio, and this is no different. I've got some short stories I'm going to tell about Merle or about the song. These songs have a lot of history, and Lord knows Merle does. So, yeah, there's some stories to tell, and I think the audience really enjoys that. Give them a little background on the song before I sing it. And, I got a world-class band tonight, too.
Yeah, who's playing
Saturday
with you?
night as well. Bruce McCabe on the piano, Melanie Rosales singing and playing guitar, Danny Real Deal Neal playing guitar, Joe Savage on the pedal steel. It's a world-class band.
That's a 5-star world-class band, absolutely. We're talking with Bobby Vandel. He's performing tonight at Crooner's Lounge, 7:30 tonight. Tickets at croonersloungemn.com. Also, Bobby in the Merle Haggard tribute, the special Mother's Day show, Sunday, May 12th at 5 p.m. Tell us a little bit about the band, Bobby.
Yeah, this band is, I'm so proud to have these guys. We had so much fun at all the rehearsals. They are just world-class. Bruce McCabe, the great Bruce McCabe on the piano, played with Johnny Lang, of course, Lamont Cranston, the Hoop Snakes for many years. And we've got Real Deal Danny Neal on guitar.
He's fantastic.
From Tennessee originally. There's not a better country guitar player in the world. Joe Savage on the pedal steel. That guy is as good as they get. Melanie Rosales will be there singing, playing guitar. This band truly is world-class. I'm so proud to have them.
It sounds like it's going to be a phenomenal show, Bobby. Now, what is the name of the band?
Well, a good friend of mine by the name of Paul Metsa told me a long time ago I should name my band the Vandeleros. It took me a long time to have that sink in, but I finally did it, and we're going to debut that name Saturday night.
I'm honored that you would use it, Bobby Vandel. Bobby Vandel and the Vandelleros doing Sing Me Back Home, Crooner's Lounge, May 11th, 7:30, Sunday, special Mother's Day show on May 12th at 5 p.m. Bobby, just about 20 seconds left. Where do you hope to take the show after the Crooner's Lounge experience?
Well, I'm already traveling around the country doing Merle Haggard, picking up bands in different areas of the country. I'm going to be going to Atlanta here at the end of June to do a festival, outdoor festival down there. I hope to get to the point where I can take my own band, but right now I'm just flying around doing some shows around the country. But we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, very soon we'll be taking my own band out there and doing some of these shows for people all over.
Bobby Vandel, thanks for your time tonight. Good luck with the show tonight and the Mother's Day show tomorrow at Crooner's Lounge. And you're saluting one of the greatest musicians that America has ever had. Thanks for listening to the Wall of Power Radio Hour. This is your host, Paul Metza. This show is engineered by Brett Johnson. We'd like to thank our guests, Tim Sparks and Bobby Vandel. In the background, we're listening to Tim Sparks' version of Mama Tried, and we want to say Happy Mother's Day to all you wonderful mothers out there in the Wall of Power Radio Hour land. Check out paulmetza.com. You can find out where I'm playing. If you want to buy a record or a book, I could set you up with that as well. And like my dad used to tell me, remember to be kind and make someone happy.